What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, guys, we're continuing to break down the New England Patriots 2023 NFL draft picks. This is your complete draft class. This is your one-stop shop for all your analysis on the New England Patriots. So make sure you guys do subscribe for all your Patriots news. And of course, like this video because it really helps me in the channel out, along with letting me know how you feel about this player in the comment section below. Some things you like about him, things you don't like. What's your ultimate outlook and what was your reaction on this player? I'm going to break down all my thoughts on him here in this video because the New England Patriots have selected Jake Andrews, interior offensive lineman out of Troy, with their fourth round pick, their first fourth round pick 107 overall. So make sure you guys do, of course, look at my other videos that I have for the Patriots 2023 NFL draft. I'm doing these picks in order. So from rounds 1 to 7, how the Patriots selected is how my videos are going to come out for these guys. Once I get videos done for all of these guys, I'm going to make a playlist so that it's easy for you guys to find all of these videos I've made analyzing these guys, their draft profiles. So it's going to be super easy for you guys to find on my channel. Just go to my channel and look for where it says playlist, and that's where all these videos essentially are going to be under. But without further ado, let's roll that intro and get into today's video. Now, first off here, I want to start with just my overall reactions because the New England Patriots, this is first round pick, or not the first round pick, but their first pick here on day 3, their first fourth round pick, they decided to go interior offensive line. And while I'm happy that they finally decided to go offense here because the first 2 days, the first 3 picks were all defense, I'm happy they went with offense. I was clamoring for them to finally go offense. You need to build around Mac. You need to give him protection. You need to give him some weapons. You need to do something with this offense because that's what struggled mainly in 2022. And so far with our premier picks, all we've done is gone defense, which, yeah, with the players that we have, with the teams we have next year, we need a stellar defense. But my concern mainly, especially after drafting Christian Gonzalez, was not for the defense. It was offense. We had to do something there. And to me, I was hoping the Patriots were going to go tight end. I was going offensive tackle, maybe, depending on who they went with, wide receiver. But no, they go interior of the offensive line. This one was a little bit strange to me just because you drafted Cole Strange last year. Now, Michael Onwenu is in contract year, but you're going to hear me say this in all of the videos I make involving the Patriots draft picks for the interior of the offensive line. You got to keep Michael Onwenu around. And I understand if he's going to make more than ultimately you want to give him, but it's an offensive guard. Those guys shouldn't make a whole lot of money. He's a perfect fit for your scheme. He has experience at right tackle. You tried him at left tackle. You also got the best out of him at you tried him at right tackle, left guard, and this past year, right guard, where he played stellar. For those also saying Michael Onwenu could be a right tackle, Mac already came out and said, we've tried him at tackle, but he's our guard. He's a guard. This is where he's stapled in at this point. So to me, this move probably tells us that Michael Onwenu is going to be out of the building. Not necessarily this exact pick, but the Patriots picks several picks for the interior of the offensive line, and I don't agree with that. Michael Onwenu allowed 1 sack really the entire year, and it was the second to last game of the entire season. But in terms here of Jake Andrews, as we see Chase back there, but in terms of Jake Andrews, I think the Patriots reached. And we started this draft off so good with Christian Gonzalez and got such good value. And I feel like value has just absolutely dropped here for the New England Patriots because Jake Andrews was a guy, some had a 7th round pick on, but he was a later round pick ultimately. I think it was more of a 6th round pick than a 7th, but still, you could have gotten this guy later. There was no need to take him with your first 4th round pick. There was no need to. You could have gotten him in the 5th round if you wanted to. If you wanted to take him early, but taking him high in the 4th round to me just does not make a lot of sense. I think offensive linemen in terms of tackles were going off the board quickly, but not a whole lot of interior guys were going quick. You could have gotten this guy a whole lot later, and that's just my concern is value. Now, in terms of what do I think that he's going to bring, he's going to be your center. That's mainly what he was there with his time at Troy. I can actually give you those exact numbers. He does bring a little bit of a positional versatility, which is what I really like. I'm actually very excited about that. Mainly a center. He's actually played more right guard throughout his career, but I think the Patriots will use him more as center. Right guard in 2020 and 2021, 800 snaps at right guard in 2020, 774 in 2021. But this past year, played a total of 914 snaps at center. That is what the Patriots are drafting him for. I know we're talking about playing Andrews and Andrews next to each other. No, Andrews is coming in to replace Andrews. And that's my other thing. I feel like as a fourth round pick, especially high in the fourth round, you're expecting a guy who is still going to make an impact for you, at least a potential impact year one. I don't see Jake Andrews doing that. I think David Andrews probably has about 2 years left in him. And I could be wrong there, but I think he has about 2 years left in him. He's still on that contract for the Patriots too. There's no reason to move on from David Andrews yet, because when he's on the field, he plays at a high level. It's just getting him on the field that's an issue. David Andrews does have issues staying healthy. And I came into the draft process saying we need to get depth at guard, right? Michael Onwenu, always healthy. This guy's an Iron Man. Cole Strange, good, but we had him coming in and out because there were some question marks on how his play was last year in his rookie year. And of course, David Andrews always getting hurt. We did re-sign James Ferentz, who is a veteran there, who, again, I think is a great guy who can replace David Andrews when he isn't able to play a full season or is dealing with injuries. But then that question mark comes with, okay, well, then what's Jake Andrews going to give you right now, right? Because I don't think he's going to start for you at guard year one. I don't think you need him year two to start at guard because, spoiler alert, we drafted 2 other guards in the draft already. So kind of what's the purpose here, right? I feel like there's better value picks you could have gone with, guys that are going to make a bigger impact right now than Jake Andrews is. Again, if you're getting a guy who's a developmental piece, or you're getting a guy that's going to be someone that's more of a down the line pick for you, get them a little later in the draft, especially when they're expected to go, 2-3 rounds later than they were expected to. In terms of what is Jake Andrews going to bring, he's somebody that is mainly a run blocker. And that's something that reminds me a lot of David Andrews in itself, because David Andrews is more of a run blocker than he is a pass protector. But as a pass protector, David Andrews is a lot better than Jake Andrews. Run blocking, he's very good, well above average. He had a 77.1 run blocking grade this past year, but is also pretty decently below average in pass blocking, which does concern me. 56.5 overall grade there, with a zone grade of 79.8. This past year, he allowed 4 sacks playing under center, and then allowed 1 sack in 2021, and then 1 sack in 2020 while playing at right guard. Also allowed 11 hurries this past year playing at center, 4 quarterback hits playing at center this past year. So just some decent overall concerns for me. This is a guy who was expected to go later, so it's a little bit harder to find some overall information about him. When it comes to him in the passing game, he does show quickness. He does show good hands. It's just getting to that punch. He's very slow. That's the problem. And there's something else I also wanted to bring up here, if I can find his size. Um, Decent size. Not bad size if you're talking about an interior offensive lineman, especially if you're talking about a center. That's one of the things that is good about him. 305 pounds, 6'3". My concern also is that he's playing for the Trojans, right? He's playing at Troy. How's that competition going to be when you're playing against the national? You're playing in the National Football League. How are you going to transition in terms of going up against much more premier talent from a defensive-wise standpoint? That's a concern to me, especially with how he performed already in pass protection. Is this our future, or is this another Yelda Froholt situation? That's kind of my thought process here with Andrews. Let me pull up if this loads. So NFL.com also had him as a guy, or graded as a guy overall, that was expected to be a backup or an overall special teamer. They don't think that he's going to be much of anything. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that he very well could be a starter for the Patriots within a couple of years. Also very athletic. To go along with his size, one of the best things about this guy is just how athletic he is overall. doesn't give you length, but gives you size. He also played over 3,000 snaps in 37 starts. Um, Although he's athletic, he doesn't have very good agility. Something that also does concern me in terms of him being a center is he going to be able to take on those duties? Is he going to be able to take on the responsibilities that a center has to take on, which is essentially diagnosing the defense that is in front of you and kind of um, telling that back to the rest of your offensive line, telling that back to your quarterback and Mac Jones or whoever that guy is. Center is a very, very important position, and you probably have to have the second highest football IQ on the team behind the quarterback. And I've heard some question marks on if this guy can do that also. Overall, this wouldn't have been a bad pick because I do think the Patriots should draft a guard. But I just thought later on it made more sense, especially if we're talking about him being a center and David Andrews plays for another 2 years. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but at the same time, too, him learning behind David Andrews for as long as he can is only going to help him. So I don't hate the pick. I just don't like essentially the value in which they got it high end in the fourth round. But what are your guys' thoughts on Jake Andrews? I really want to know. Let me know in the comment section below. Not to hate on this guy too much because I do think there is potential. He does remind me a little bit of David Andrews, but just those concerns of playing in a small school and kind of transitioning to the NFL, pretty big pass protection issues to me, but this guy is an excellent run blocker. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video. Of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I will catch you guys in the next draft video. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe, and never forget, of course, go Pack.